Welcome back to the channel, and if it's your first time, happy to have you here. Today I'm doing something a little different. I'm starting a new kind of tradition here on the channel. It's not going to be a weekly or monthly thing necessarily, but I'm calling it Physical Media Friday. As many of you know, especially if you're a fan of cinema, there's been a bit of a physical media boom lately in the last few years. More and more people are rediscovering a passion for collecting Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, VHS tapes, even the occasional Laserdisc, though I imagine there aren't too many collectors going that deep. Personally, I'm an avid movie collector. You could see a portion of my collection right over there behind me. DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, but lately I've been trying to stick to Blu-rays whenever I can because I don't currently have a 4K player. At the time of this recording, it's July 2nd, actually, which means it's time for the annual Criterion Collection 50% off sale in partnership with Barnes & Noble. If you go in-store or visit their website, all Criterion DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks are half off for the entire month. As soon as the sale was announced, I jumped on it. I picked up a few Blu-rays, and I wanted to come on here and share some of the physical media I've added to my collection over the past month. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So I'm going to start off with a few that I picked up when I was in Asheville, North Carolina, while I was on a job. If you know anything about physical media and Asheville, North Carolina, you know that I had to go to Orbit DVD. A friend of mine had been there before, and we were driving through Asheville, and he said we had to stop. So of course we took a stop in. I didn't pick up too much there, and I didn't go too crazy, but I did get one of my favorite movies. That's the first one we're going to start with, and that is Sean Baker's The Florida Project. It's just a regular Blu-ray with a digital copy. So nothing too fancy. We can work through this pretty quickly. But this is truly one of my favorite, probably top 10, if not top 20 favorite movies of all time. When I saw this film in theaters the year that it came out, I nearly burst into tears at the final sequence of it. So inside, we just get the digital copy, which I have already redeemed, so don't even think about screenshotting it and trying it yourself. And we just get this Blu-ray disc. Now, I haven't watched it yet, but I am looking forward to revisiting this film. I probably haven't seen it in close to eight years or so, maybe. But truly a wonderful film. If you have not seen it, go watch The Florida Project. Go watch all of Sean Baker's stuff, especially after Honora, which maybe I'll get to later this year during the next Criterion sale. I didn't get it this time, but maybe next time I will. All right, the next one is another big one for me. It is one of my favorite films of all time. It is in my Letterboxd top 4, and for some reason, I never owned it on physical media. I never owned a Blu-ray or a DVD. I may have owned it when I was in high school, but through the shuffle of mom moving houses, things going into storage lockers, it might have just got lost in the shuffle. But that is Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights. Now, I don't really think I need to say very much about Boogie Nights. It is widely regarded to be a classic. I am waiting for the day that this gets some sort of 4K upgrade, that some sort of distributor, whether it be Criterion Collection or whether it be Arrow or Umbrella or someone, puts this out into like a mega box set, because I will certainly be getting it. But Boogie Nights is incredible. I'll show you the inside. We get that. Really nice, really wonderful film. Truly inspirational film for me and so many other filmmakers since it came out. Do yourself a favor and watch Boogie Nights. And up next, the last thing that I got from Orbit DVD was this little limited edition steelbook of Spirited Away. Now, I was perusing, trying to figure out something to buy, and I have this sort of thing that I do when I'm buying physical stuff where I like to at least get one blind buy. Now, it may surprise a lot of you that I have never seen this movie. Even as of recording this, I plan on watching it later tonight, but I still have never seen Spirited Away. And I'm recording this the week after the New York Times top 100 movies of the last 25 years came out, and Spirited Away was on it. It was pretty high up on that list. And when I was in Orbit DVD, this friend of mine that I was with was like, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. You should probably get it. And it was between this and like a regular Blu-ray, and this was like $3 more. So I was like, you know what, why not? But I love this case. I really couldn't say no to it. It's just plain on the back, and we get this little ghost guy or whatever on the front. Again, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know the story. I've gone all this time without really hearing anything about this movie as far as plot goes. But inside, we get this little booklet It's not the craziest booklet I've ever seen, but it is kind of nice right here. And inside we get, I guess, some writing, whether it's an essay from Studio Ghibli producer Toshio Suzuki. We get some images from the film. We get an essay director's statement on the film from Hayao Miyazaki. And Miyazaki is one of those filmmakers whose films I've seen very few of. I think I've seen Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, most recently The Boy and the Heron. I loved all of those. So I'm very excited to dive into this. Let me show you one more time the discs in here too. So one of the discs, the top disc, is a DVD copy. The bottom disc is a Blu-ray copy. I'm excited to dive into this. I cannot wait. I love this case, and I might have to start maybe investing in some other steelbooks like this because it's quite beautiful. Okay, now I will tell you what I got. You can see them right next to me, but I will tell you what I got from the Criterion 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble, starting with the one that I knew I was going to get immediately, which is Do the Right Thing from Spike Lee. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, easily in the top 100 for me. I saw this for the first time when I was in film school, and it just absolutely blew my mind. Just some absolutely stunning cinematography from Ernest Dickerson, and the writing is impeccable. This thing is still as relevant today as it was in 1989 when it came out. Let's take a brief look at the inside. Here's the front cover, Do the Right Thing, and the back cover. All right, and let's take a look. I love this. Watch this. Ooh, right there on the front, we get Sal in front of his pizzeria with the John Turturro character out front. Here's Mookie, played by Spike Lee. We can see Radio Raheem over here by the police car. We see Samuel L. Jackson's character. He's the sort of disc jockey at the radio station. Really wonderful film. And then you turn it all the way around, it keeps going. Really, really wonderful film, and really lovely packaging and design all around here. And inside, we get this little booklet. And I say little, but this thing is actually pretty thick. It's pretty massive. And inside, there's a ton of artwork. Love this right there. You see Spike Lee next to the guys in the chair. And there's a bunch of essays in here. So there's one called Walking in Stereo from Vincent Cunningham. There's a few others. Bed-Stuy, Do or Die. Fun fact about me, I actually, just a few months ago, moved into this apartment. And the apartment that I lived in before this one was in Bed-Stuy, a few blocks from where they shot this movie. I remember driving by it. There's even a sign that says, Do the Right Thing Boulevard or Do the Right Thing Way or something like that. I always pass by it when I was driving home. Yeah, really wonderful stuff. And then this, I was also excited by. So there is a director's journal by Spike Lee. So inside here we have, I think first a statement from Spike Lee, sort of like a diary or a journal. And you get a bunch of stuff from the script. You get casting, nicknames, just a ton of notes. I'm very, very excited to read through all of this. Man, it is just, and it just goes on for the rest of it. And as someone who is an aspiring filmmaker, as someone who is actively trying to make his first feature film, this thing is incredibly inspiring to me. And I'm going to be reading it, and I want to see what Spike Lee was doing so early on in his career. I think this was like his third movie he had ever made after School Days and She's Gotta Have It. But really, this is such a wonderful film. And if you haven't seen it ever, I highly recommend watching it. And then I know you're going to love it. And when you love it, you should pick up this Criterion copy of Do the Right Thing. I don't believe there's a 4K, so I think it's all Blu-ray. But this is a 2-disc set. So the second disc has all of these special features. So this whole chunk right here, this is all the special features that you get on that second disc. I already started watching one of the documentaries about the making of the film, and I didn't finish it yet, but I'm excited to dive into all of these special features. It's a whole other movie's worth of other special features. It's really incredible. So Do the Right Thing, go check it out. Up next, I got Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story. Now, this was a pretty special film for me when it came out in 2019. I remember watching it in 2019, and then the pandemic came around, and I watched it again when I was in lockdown, and it's truly just a heartbreaking movie, a movie about divorce. Even though the movie is called Marriage Story, it is probably more accurately Divorce Story, because Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson's characters get divorced in the film, and then it really becomes a battle over custody of their child, and all of these sort of backstabbing and the hurtful things that go on in the process of this legal battle between these two people. I want to show you the inside of this because there's something really cool in here that I didn't know was in here when I bought it. So if we open it up, first we see Scarlett Johansson. On the back, we see Adam Driver. And then we open it up, we see their child. But if you've seen the film, you know that there are these letters that each character writes about the other one. So Nicole and Charlie each write letters, and inside these, we get the actual letters. So if you open it up, it's just a print. Obviously, it's not handwritten. But yeah, so this is the letter that Nicole wrote about Charlie. And then you open it up. There's another little booklet. We'll get to that in a second. But we have the letter that Charlie wrote about Nicole. And I remember when these are being read in the movie, I remember just bawling my eyes out. This really is truly a beautiful movie, but beautifully sad movie. While we're at it, why don't we just take a look at that disc right there? Man, I'm very excited to rewatch this. I haven't watched it since 2020, since during the pandemic. Here we get a little booklet. And on the inside, it's one of the fold outs. It folds out entirely, which I'm not always a big fan of, but we get some stills from the movie. We get a few special thanks, acknowledgments, production credits. I believe there's an essay, yeah, It Doesn't Add Up by Lynn Ullman, and I'm excited to give this a read. Haven't read it yet, but man, what an incredible movie. And one that I feel like people forget about all these years later, but I saw it and I was just truly floored. As a child of divorce, I was incredibly thankful that my parents' divorce wasn't as chaotic as this one is in this film. Go check out Marriage Story. I'm probably going to be watching this sometime this week. So like I said, with Orbit DVD, I always like to do a blind buy anytime I'm doing a purchase of multiple physical discs. So for this one, I decided to buy Ikiru by Akira Kurosawa. Now, again, this is the Blu-ray copy of Ikiru. I'm actually not even sure if there is a 4K version of this. There very well might be. But I've never seen this, and I know next to nothing about it. I know it was remade somewhat recently with Bill Nighy in the lead role. I believe that film was called Living. And I know nothing about this. I'm still relatively new to the world of Akira Kurosawa, having just watched High and Low for the first time last year, and I'm really excited to dive into his samurai films as well as his others like The Bad Sleep Well and Drunken Angel and Ikiru. It's a pretty simple case, and nothing too spectacular inside. When we open it up, we get the disc and we get this little booklet which has some essays in it. I do want to show you this though. When you pop out the disc, there's this little photo of this guy, of the main character, I imagine. And and then also when you pull out this little booklet, you get this lady. I don't know who this lady is yet, but I will know soon enough when I watch the movie. Let's see. So you got this booklet, and it's another fold-out one. It folds out entirely. We get an essay called To Live by Donald Ritchie, and we also get another essay called Ikiru Many Autumns Later by Pico Iyer. Not sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, folds out. The other side, there's our guy again. I'm excited to watch this. Again, I don't know anything about it. I probably will have watched it by the time this video comes out, so don't go to the comments, be like, how could you not watch Ikiru? I will have seen it by the time you've seen this. But the back cover calls it, the director at his most compassionate, affirming life through an exploration of death. I'm sold. Can't wait. I'm excited for that. Yeah, Ikiru. All right, next we have the Matthew Kassovitz film La Haine. Now, if you have not seen La Haine, I have not seen this in probably 15 years. I saw this when I was real young. I think I was in high school at the time. I must have caught it on Netflix during early Netflix streaming days. I remember watching this and thinking this was like the French version of Pulp Fiction or something. This came out in 1995. And I have not seen anything directed by Matthew Kassovitz before or since. But I really want to dive into his stuff, and I really want to revisit this because I remember it making a really big impression on me. But for the life of me, I don't remember what this is about, but I remember it being incredibly, incredibly visually striking. And the black and white cinematography was just stunning. Yeah, this is a really wonderful edition. This is again the Blu-ray edition, and we open it up, and that's what we get on the inside. Get another booklet. This one has another sort of interesting thing on the back cover. Let's see. So we pull that out. We pull the disc out. And there we go. We get Vincent Cassel holding a gun. Lovely. Just absolutely incredible iconography throughout this film. There are probably shots in this film that circulate around Reddit and Instagram and a whole bunch of places, and people are like, what is this movie? It looks so striking. It really is a beautiful looking film. It's just a striking looking film. There they are. There's the whole gang. Table of contents, chapters, whole bunch of stuff. I believe there are some essays in here. We got an essay called Arts, Politics, and the Ben Liu, I don't know what Ben Liu means, by Jeanette Vincendeau. All right, here we have another one, Caustic Avarice on La Haine. Interesting. I'm excited to read all of this. I got a lot of reading to do. If you couldn't tell, there's a ton of literature in all of these discs that I got. I'm truly excited to revisit this. It's been a long time, like I mentioned. The back cover says it's a visually explosive look at the racial and cultural volatility in modern-day France. So it's sort of interesting that I got this at the same time that I got Do the Right Thing. I'm wondering if sort of these movies are a little bit in conversation with each other, just based on what I'm reading from this. Again, I really wish I remembered more about it, but the visuals are so striking that that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about this. I think that shot of Vincent Cassel looking in the mirror, and then it goes past him, he ducks down. It's really beautiful film and wonderfully shot film. All right, up next is another film that I saw one time, a long time ago, and for some reason I never owned it. And I remember very little about it, but I remember being floored by the performances, by the writing, by the cinematography, by all of it, and that is My Own Private Idaho by Gus Van Sant, starring Keanu Reeves and River Phoenix. I've probably mentioned it before on the channel, but I am a sort of diehard River Phoenix fan. When I saw Stand By Me when I was a kid, I was probably like 9 or 10 when I saw Stand By Me for the first time. And I was amazed at River Phoenix's performance as Chris Chambers in that film. And that was around the time, I'm discovering the internet. So I Google River Phoenix and I discovered that he died 3 years before I was even born. And it was one of those things where I was like, discovering the concept of death, discovering the concept of, so I'll never see a new movie with River Phoenix in it. And it made me very sad. And still to this day, it makes me very sad that we lost River Phoenix at such a young age when he had so much to offer and so much potential. It was sort of my first brush with a celebrity death that actually affected me. So I've made it a point to watch every film that River Phoenix was in. I just recently watched Running on Empty and Dogfight, both beautiful films and wonderful films, and he is incredible in both of them. He is equally incredible in My Own Private Idaho, again, a film that I have not seen in quite some time. There's the back cover, and let's open it up. This has some cool stuff in it too. I really, really, really loved the design of this entire edition of this film. Right there, it has a booklet. I'm going to take the booklet out real quick so we can see the inside. Right in there, I love all of this design up here with these, I don't even know what you would call this, but these patterns kind of everywhere. Really, really wonderful stuff. And then let's look into this booklet real quick. Again, look at this design. This is just absolutely stunning. On the back, we get that house that falls in the middle of the street. And some of the stuff I did look in here. Some of the stuff I don't think I could show on YouTube, but here we go. This really just reminds me of how beautiful this film is to look at. You get an essay. Let me shout out the essay. So this is called Private Places by Amy Taubin. We get a little essay in here. Just recently I watched Drugstore Cowboy by Gus Van Sant. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, and I'm sorry to say. But here, look, we have these pinups of Keanu Reeves, River Phoenix. I believe it's Gus Van Sant on one of them. All right, we have another little essay or interview, it looks like. Boise on the Side by J.T. Leroy. Yeah, really wonderful stuff. I feel like I keep saying that, but I'm excited to dive back into this movie. I'm excited to dive into all of these movies. I deliberately picked films that I was like vaguely reminiscent of or films that I haven't seen in quite some time. Here's another one, Shakespeare in Black Leather by Lance Loud. There's a lot of great literature to read in this one here. I'm very excited to read this. I wish I read these before making this video so I had more to say about them, but I love this. I love this shot of River walking down the road. It really is It's a powerful movie, and I urge everyone to go watch River Phoenix's filmography because as I've been going through it, it makes me emotional every time I see him on screen. He had so much vulnerability, and a lot of people like to make the comparison to Leonardo DiCaprio and be like, oh, where would Leonardo DiCaprio's career be if River Phoenix never died? Maybe he would have got a role in, maybe not Titanic. He might have been too old by the time Titanic was being made, but, it's one of those things you could ponder and think about. Here's another one. My Director and I, this interview of Gus Van Sant by River Phoenix originally appeared in the March 1991 issue of Interview magazine. That I'm incredibly excited to read. An interview between River and Gus. That is exciting stuff. Here we see Keanu Reeves. There's a still from the movie. There's some stuff I can't show you on YouTube. And I love this photo of River right here. He looks so much older, that's also one of those things that that happens as you age alongside actors who you're watching in films, is that you sort of see them age. And I remember watching this film for the first time and thinking that I couldn't believe that this was the same person that was in Stand By Me all those years ago. And finally, River and Keanu. So this is an interview of Keanu Reeves and River Phoenix by Jeannie Sykes and Paige Powell, originally appeared in the November 1991 issue of Interview magazine. So interview with them. I'm so excited to read all of this. Here's another great photo of River. Man, still makes me emotional thinking about it. Yeah. So that's that. That's My Own Private Idaho. Do yourself a favor and go watch it. Gus Van Sant, in my opinion, is a hit or miss director, mostly hits. Having watched To Die For pretty recently, and my absolute admiration and love of Good Will Hunting and this film. He's a one-of-a-kind filmmaker, and definitely go check out My Own Private Idaho. I really, really love. This might be one of my favorite Criterion designs as the case itself and all of the literature inside of it. It really is pretty remarkable. Okay, last but not least, certainly not least, I left this one for last because it is probably now one of my most prized possessions. I'm absolutely excited to show this to you, and I'm excited to just be holding it in my hands. I ordered this before I went on a work trip, and then it arrived at my apartment the day I flew out to, where was I going? Atlanta. I landed in Atlanta, got the notification, hey, your package is at your door. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Now I have to wait an entire week before I can even open this thing. But finally, I can hold my Umbrella Entertainment copy of The Fall. This is the special collector's edition of The Fall. You could tell by how thick it is. So the Umbrella, this is my first Umbrella release that I've ever bought. And it's certainly the first collector's edition that I've ever bought. But The Fall, if you go ahead and take a look at my Letterboxd top 4, you will see that The Fall rests firmly at number 1. And this is a film that I have pretty much declared will never, ever be topped by another film. I think that this is my favorite film of all time. It will continue to be my favorite film of all time. And part of the reason for that is if you've seen it, not only is it incredibly rich and lively and beautiful to look at, but it's a film about storytelling. I myself am a storyteller. I'm a writer. I am an aspiring filmmaker. And this is a film about the history of cinema, about storytelling in general, about the interpretations of things when we are children. It really has this painterly Wizard of Oz quality to it for me. The Wizard of Oz was the first movie I think I ever remember seeing as a child. And this film feels like a 21st century version of The Wizard of Oz for me. It's really, truly remarkable. And I knew I had to spend the money. I had to get it from Australia, get it shipped all the way here. And I had to get this collector's edition. I do believe that Mubi said that they would be putting out some sort of 4K edition of The Fall, whether it be a box set collector's edition. When that comes out, I'll probably be getting that too. And I'm going to have a whole shrine to The Fall because I love this goddamn movie. If you don't know anything about it, it has Lee Pace, and I believe his first movie role or his second movie role. And it is about a man who is in an infirmary, a hospital in the early 1900s. in California, in Los Angeles, California. And there's a little girl named Alexandria who is there with a broken arm. And this man who is paralyzed from the waist down after a stunt that goes wrong. He's a stunt man for moving pictures. He becomes paralyzed from the waist down, and he strikes up a bond with this young girl, Alexandria. And he goes on and he tells her a story. And what we see in this film is that story unfolding from Alexandria's point of view, from her perspective, of what she imagines this guy is talking about. Tarsem Singh, who directed this film, you may know from The Cell, a movie that I don't really love all that much. And to be honest, a lot of Tarsem Singh's other films, I'm not that partial to. Immortals, he made that, was it a Cinderella movie or something? Yeah, I'm not an incredibly big fan of the rest of his filmography, which is strange considering he made my number one favorite film of all time. Truly dazzling cinematography, took decades to make across all these countries. It's sort of also renowned for not using CGI or going very, very hard in its lengths to not use CGI and to use real locations. So if you watch this film, take note of that and marvel at it. I'm gonna pop this open and we're gonna look at it. So inside, we've got a few things. First, I guess let's start with the disc itself. I really love the design of this entire collector's edition. There's that. There's the butterfly. If you've seen the film, you understand the significance of the butterfly. And here and then this is like the regular, normal cover. I have a DVD copy of this, and that's sort of the cover design of it. I don't really love this part of it. It does feel like they just took the original cover and printed it out and put it on here. Doesn't look that great, but inside we get 2 discs. We get a 4K and a Blu-ray copy. Oh my God. And then in here, I'm not going to pull this whole thing out, but we get a poster. I'm not going to unsheath that whole thing because that'll take me a little bit too long. But that's the actual discs itself. Now, for the fun stuff, we get these these postcards. I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. I'm just going to kind of hang on to them, but they have stills from the film. And again, if you haven't seen the film, maybe this is a good opportunity to take a look at what it looks like. And you could see just this way. You could see just the stunning, stunning cinematography in this film. Oh, I keep going the wrong way. There we go. Yeah. Now, these stills aren't giving anything away, but you see this. That's Alexandria as the bandit's daughter. This is Charles Darwin. That's Roy. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. I don't know whether I'm going to hang them up or just keep them in the box and not touch them. But these little postcard things, fun stuff. Now, this is the other thing I'm very excited about. This is behind the scenes experiences and art of the fall. Again, more literature for me to read. We're going to take a look through this pretty quickly because we got to wrap this video up. Let's see. You didn't understand it. It's not for you. Epic tale of a 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 tale. I really, really love this film. I cannot overstate how much I love this film. So this is an essay by William Bibbiani. You get some images from the film, a whole lot of writing about the film, more stills. The Fall Guy, The Making of Tarsem Singh's Cult Classic by David Michael Brown. Again, I don't own anything else from Umbrella. They have a lot of great stuff on their website. I urge you all to check them out. It's my story too. Man, just thinking about it makes me think of this movie and gets me all emotional. Shared Imaginations in the Fall. Now, for a long time, this film was very hard to find. It wasn't available on streaming. Even getting DVD and Blu-ray copies of this was nearly impossible. I'm so glad. I think Mubi acquired it recently, and they put it out in theaters last year, and I got to see it in theaters. The fact that I got to see The Fall in theaters during my lifetime was just a dream come true because I've been loving this movie since I was a teenager, and I've been preaching the gospel of The Fall to anyone who will listen. It was always one of those movies where someone would ask about my favorite movies, and I would say, hands down, my favorite film is The Fall, and they would say, what is that? What are you talking about? And I would have to explain. It was directed by this guy, Tarsem Singh, and it's very hard to find, and yada, yada, yada. I saw it on Netflix many years ago, telling the wrong story, the disintegration of transcultural communication and narrative in the Fall, which was written by Charlotte Stevens. It's one of the best shots of the movie. To pick a favorite shot from this movie is nearly impossible. It is just wall-to-wall stunning cinematography. It's such a bizarre thing to me that this movie was shopped around to people, and apparently Tarsem says that no one wanted to buy it. He spent, I think, 4 years making it, paying for it largely himself. He was working on commercials in order to pay for the production of this film, and no one wanted to buy it. So bizarre to me because it is such a beautiful, beautiful movie. I mean, look at that. Let me see. Let me get that in focus. I mean, come on. Do yourself a favor. If you haven't seen The Fall, I'm in awe at this thing. I'm staring at it. I've got to wrap this video up because it's been going on long enough. But please do check out The Fall. And I urge you, if you love the movie, go check out this collector's edition from Umbrella Entertainment. If you do end up getting this from Umbrella, it's not going to be the most expensive thing in the world. It's not going to be the cheapest thing in the world. But I would say it is worth the price, absolutely, for me. I'm excited to put this on my shelf over there next to my DVD copy of The Fall that I've had for about 15 years. Yeah, so this is The Fall. And that's going to do it for this edition of Physical Media Friday. This is a pretty big one for me. I got all of these within the last couple weeks, and I'm excited for all of these to live on my shelf now. Can't wait to come back here and do more of this. I love collecting movies, and I love putting them on the shelf, just looking at them, as I'm sure a lot of other collectors who may be watching this do. So if any of these have piqued your interest, I recommend getting them. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. So if you like this video, head down to the comments and let me know what were the last few movies that you picked up on physical media, whether it be 4K, Blu-ray, VHS, whatever. If you are into Laserdisc, I didn't mean to diss you earlier, let me know it down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when new videos come out on the channel. Go follow me on Letterboxd and you can see all of my thoughts on these movies and more. And I'll see you all next time.